go. Here we go. Here we go. Now we are. There we
We
go.
can't be live yet because
Yay.
I still have to go cough. I'm still doing that. I have to cough, and if in the middle of the broadcast I mute myself and I turn around and go you'll understand why. It's this
I'm happy that you're wearing our shirt.
I
That's
am.
awesome.
Plus, even though it's not cold in Texas, I'm still a little under the weather, still a little cold. I'm putting it
Even
on.
though it's not cold in Texas. I'm
You did that
sorry.
on the live show.
That
Shame on you.
shame on me. Yeah, I'm.
Oh,
Didn't you know I'm inappropriate? I'm hashtag inappropriate.
we had such a good time filming that podcast this week with Jenny. That was so much fun.
You know what? I thought you were when she said the corset and the whip. I thought you were you turned.
Just about blew my. It was okay. Don't get so tickled you blow a bubble out your nose, Jeff. Don't do that.
Oh, tickled! I was afraid you were blushing.
Yeah, I was.
Hello, Facebook user. When you're typing in the comments, make sure you put your name because we can't see everybody's name.
Yeah, we want to say hey, hi back, and sometimes it doesn't tell us who you are. And then later we go through the Facebook feed and we go, oh, hey, glad you were here. Glad you were
Oh,
here.
it's Molly. I hear
That's
so
Molly?
much about you from Molly. No, from Molly. Okay. No, I'm glad you're on. Yay, and Teresa's on. Teresa's near me. Teresa
Cool
came over
beans.
for drinks not too long ago.
Andrea.
Yay, Andrea.
Good to see you guys tonight.
Yay.
I'm just glad to be able to stand up and do a 30-minute show without getting all that stuff got me bad. I was in a bad way for a week, I guess.
Yeah, this time of year is yeah. Anyway, could it be because I mean, it could have just been a virus, but here once we have to use the heat, it sucks all the moisture out of the house. Yeah. And if I don't keep it humidified enough, it looks like I have something really bad.
Hey, Debbie Britt's got a new term, bluebies.
Bluebies.
I'm afraid I would misspeak that and get myself sued.
All right, bluebies. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Bluebies. Yeah. Oh, I'm proud of my bluebies.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get him going, Debbie.
He may be a good writer, but he said bluebies to me.
Let's make Jeff blush. That's what we want right there. Look.
Oh, we'll put on my anti-blush cream. You won't know. Oh, hey, Mom's got a new anti-blush cream. I'll get some.
There's Brian Weiss from the Go Giver community. Hi, Brian.
Hey, Brian. How are you, man? Glad to have you here with us tonight. We try to do some fun things. We try to do some teaching things, and we try to do some announcements and promotional things. And the first 10 minutes is all Lisa's stuff, so I have no idea what we're going to do. She likes to catch me off guard. So.
I try, yeah. I like to make him nervous.
Yeah, well.
Debbie says, "Do you blush blue?"
If I have the right mascara, it's not mascara. What is it? I guess it's blush, isn't it? If I have the right compact in front of me.
Yeah, and I'm wearing a suit because I was trying this out. I've got a meeting I got to go to at Avon headquarters in New York City in a couple weeks, and I was trying out a suit. I haven't worn a suit for I don't even know, and I had to get it blue. I had to get it blue to match the hair because I got a theme going.
Well, I hope you have a blast there. I love going to New York City. I love it.
Well, it's gonna be fun, and we got it one night off, so I'm gonna see if some of the other guys want to do a Broadway show or something because I'm all into that now.
Hey, you ought to see if you can have coffee or something with Harjeet while you're there.
Oh yes.
She's in Long Island.
You ought to see her. You ought to see Hugh Jackman. His run with the Music Man stops on the 15th.
Oh wow!
So.
My wife and I were up there a few years back, and we saw Hugh Jackman and Daniel Craig in a two-man play. The entire play was just the two of them on stage, and they played a couple of Chicago cops. It was a fantastic play.
I will tell you, if I watched a play for that long with Hugh Jackman and Daniel Craig, I would need a drool bin, like a catch tray, a drool tray.
You'd be getting the vapors, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes, I would.
So funny when I wrote that into the book and you were trying to do it on the audiobook, I had to teach you what we Southerners hear when it comes to woo. Woo.
I think that's cute.
By the way, the audiobook turned out great. I listened to it again, and I listened to the Audible version rather than the files that I edited and uploaded. And yeah, I commend you again. the first time you've done this, it's turned out well. So very good job.
Well, one of the things I wanted to show you, and I think I figured out what the difference was. You're going to say, how did you do that? But you couldn't do my thing. Back in 2000, no, it had to be 1999, because this is copyright 2000, when I was on the truck going around doing seminars with my 1-ton truck. I stopped in Texas, and there was a guy in our industry named Brandy. I forgot his first name. His last name's Clark. Oh my goodness, I forgot his name. But he had a recording studio, and he was doing a lot of stuff. So he said, you ought to record, but it was based on my performance in the seminar, not on the book. But the book was called Marketing Ideas for the Wild at Heart, and my second book was called Support, Support, Support. So the audios was Marketing and Support Ideas for the Wild at Heart.
Very cool.
And it's cassette.
Cassette tape.
This is my one saved set. And it wasn't me reading it, though. It was me doing the bits.
Right.
Matter of fact, if you could listen to it, which you obviously can't, you'd be funny, because some of the bits I've used lately were I used here.
Well, there are things that you've taught and said for decades, and so that was part of your talk at that time. It's part of who you are.
It was just awesome that lately it's like new material. Everybody's like thinking it's so awesome and new, but it's really not. So anyway, he said, while you're here doing this, why don't you, and it made me laugh because I cried doing this, and that seems familiar, don't it? This was the first time I ever recorded my story. So this little tape that came with it free was called The Lisa Wilber Story. And he said the reason it was so emotional was because I'd never told it before. That was before I was saying it in the seminar. I wasn't saying anything because I was too embarrassed. I didn't want to do it. But he said, you know what, just go in and record it. If you use it, you use it. If you don't, you don't.
Right.
And he was smart, because I did. So this one was better liked than the set.
So you're a little bit like I am in one respect. When you recount your story, emotionally, you almost relive it. And it can get emotional as you're doing it. And I'm not surprised that you would be emotional on that tape. For years, when I was a state sales coordinator for Aflac for 10 years, and then really a couple more years before that, when I was a regional sales coordinator, I was speaking to almost every single training school we had each month. And part of that, I would tell my story. And even today, if I retell that story and I put myself mentally back in that time, I'll get emotional with it. It's just who I am, and I don't apologize for it. By the way, Janet Leonard said she's headed to bed. Sweet dreams, Janet.
Yeah.
She's got a different time zone than we do. So
yeah, she's 5 hours different. Though, it's funny. I didn't feel emotional about it until I figured out that I did it to myself. That always gets me. It's when I thought it was everybody else's fault, the economy, my neighbors, my relative, when I thought it was everybody's fault but mine, which was for a long time, it didn't bother me, because I felt like, well, I can't do anything about that. It's all being done to me. But then when I realized everything that happened was because of the choices I made, then it was like, oh, I'm so embarrassed because I did this to myself. I'm sitting down here struggling because I did it to myself. Then it was emotional from then on. And I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. When I'm on stage and I'm telling my story about things, there's a moment that I talk about. It's kind of where I drew a line in the sand, and it's where I was going under financially. I'd already started with Aflac, but I'd gone through 18 months of working for another company that didn't work out really well for me. And I was angry because that company had bought our company out. And so I wanted to blame everybody in the world. But the day I drew the line in the sand is that I have another way I say it when I'm not on screen. It's the day I pulled my head out of my and realized, okay, it's my fault, my responsibility. I've got to get this done. And that things changed for me. And so it's the same feeling that you had there. So I get it.
It made a whole huge amount of difference. I think the only problem was, like, the people around me still have the other, and still to this day, many have the other opinion. So they actually give me a hard time about taking 100% responsibility. And I do that whether whether I think it's my fault or not now, because I realize that I have more control over this than anybody else. Right. And they still try to make excuses and stuff. And I have to not listen to that and just say, well, now I really do know that it's 100% my responsibility how this thing turns out.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we worked into the storyline, and it was about the consistency rule. And we were talking about that you can't control everything, but you can control the choices you make. And one of those choices was about, having the right attitude about everything, because you can't always control the circumstances, but you can control your reaction to the circumstances. And you can choose to react differently. I chose to react poorly for a long time, and then I began to act differently. So I get it.
Hey, you were saying that about consistency before, because you saw me struggle with something earlier in the fall, and I worked through it. Believe it or not, even when I was having those really hard days, I was sending the cards still every day. And you know what? I catch heat for that, because like when I got divorced, I still was working. When the baby was born, I still was working. You know what I mean? All those things, I worked through it. And to me, it wasn't an imposition to work, and it wasn't being cold-hearted. To me, it was necessary to keep my center, because that's the one thing that I can control, is how much I work.
Right. I get it.
Yeah, I'm speaking to the choir, aren't I here?
No, we're speaking to the people out there that we love. So that's what's going on.
Well, let me show you one other thing, and then we can do something else. Okay. Oh, got the Christmas card. It says, I just got the Christmas card a day or two ago. Yeah, because I send them out a few at a time, so I didn't make sure they all got there before Christmas. That's just me. Now, my love of supporting Alex and all of his artistic ability. I wanted to show you this, and don't you laugh. Okay, this is from 1991. So who knows how old I was, but I was in the trailer park for another 10 years after this. It was one of these things, I wanted the publicity, and they had a contest for drawing the cover of the program for the county fair.
Right.
I entered it and I won.
Very cool.
Me. And this is it.
I like it.
See the little pigtails?
Uh-huh.
And the little kid?
Very cool.
But I laminated it, and I got a $50 prize too. And I actually 2 years in a row I won that contest. I'm not a real artist. I'm not even that good, but I'm willing to give it a whirl. I think that's the thing.
I'm going to do you like you did me about singing. I think that was a good cover. So, and you say you're not an artist. I say I'm not a singer. Anyway.
But, well, you know what it is? It's like you said about the book, though. I was willing. There's people way better than me that didn't enter.
Exactly.
I was willing to do it. So.
Alex, being a typical teenager, I'm sure he's very supportive and tells you how great the work was, right?
Oh, no. Matter of fact, wait till you hear this. This, I had to not listen to him, because when we didn't sell as many as we had hoped on the weekend, I said, well, we were a little bit disappointed in the sales. And doesn't he say, well, what did you expect? Look at what you're doing. And I'm like, because of the hair, he thinks the hair is wrong as a promotion tool. He doesn't understand the whole thing. But it's just hilarious, because I can't. Right, I had to not take that on board. Alex does a great job. We didn't hit
the goal for the blue hair for me, but we did. I wasn't disappointed in the first weekend sales at all. So.
I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
And with the other book, I'm used to selling it in the back of the room and stuff, just like you were saying. So
and as this goes on and we do that, you'll see similar kind of thing with that as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's teach something.
Let's teach something. Oh yes, let's teach something. Okay, I have. Okay.
I should have texted you and made you come up with
it. That's not funny. Okay, now tonight, what we want to talk about is in chapter 7. You take the readers into one of Tammy's tastings for a Special Memories Wine Club, where Kai is observing and getting some of the training. Tammy spends time connecting with people, connecting people to each other as she meets them. Can you talk a little bit about that idea tonight? That wasn't that bad. You're like,
all right, get your headphones on. I'm going to give you another take at that one.
Okay. Do you want me to read it again?
No, I don't. I really don't.
I can hear you. No, listen, before you get going, in my regular life, when you're not here, I'm hearing you in my headset. I think it's a trauma, like PTSD.
You have a PTSD? Is it PTSD? Yeah, PTSD from recording an audiobook. We're babies if that's it. I'm just saying, we're babies. That's all right. But
yes.
what I wanted to do in that part of the book, that is training that I actually taught in the insurance industry. Oh, nice. And that concept wasn't original to me. The concept basically is what we've learned from Bob Berg over the years. You know, when I read the book Endless Referrals from Bob Berg back in January of 2000, he made one of the things he taught in that book was how if you want to get referrals, don't do the same thing everybody always does. Start being that person that can connect people with each other. And so he'd be at a networking meeting and he'd focus on what this person did, and he would introduce them to someone over here that could use their services. And that's how Bob did networking meetings. I took that concept in my case, and I actually implemented it with my existing clients with Aflac. And I remember going down to a place in downtown Dallas. I don't remember the exact building, but it was on the 23rd floor. I remember that because I didn't like going up that high. But and I was talking with a mortgage company, and the guy that owned it, and I told him, I had called ahead to get 20 minutes of his time, and I sat down with him, and I said, look, I appreciate your business. I feed my family by having customers like you, and you're helping my family. I appreciate you so much. I always try to take good care of your people, and I did. I had a great reputation in there. And I said, but I want to take it one step further. I meet a lot of people each week prospecting, plus I have a lot of existing clients. Could you tell me what I need to be asking them to know if they might be a good referral for me to send your way? And I'll never forget, he took his glasses off, he set them on his desk, and he said, I'll answer your question. And now I'm going to cough. Sorry, folks, I'm still getting over this stuff.
I love this story.
But he said, I've been in business for 30 years. I've had a lot of salespeople ask me for referrals, but you're the first salesperson to ever ask me how you could refer business to me. He said, thank you. And so we kind of began a little networking operation from that. Excuse me, folks. But the basic thing that I wanted to get across in that part of the training was that I've got water dripping down my glasses. I want to teach you how to do this on live TV. All right, here we go. But the main thing I really wanted to get across in there is if you spend your time in whatever circle you have, being the person who can connect people with other people, then as you're growing your business, it's going to be really an automatic step. Many times you won't even have to ask, but when you do ask, it'll certainly be something people are going to want to help you with. But if you're spending your time connecting people, one person with the next, either whether it's a business relationship or a personal relationship or whatever, when you do that successfully, you start getting a reputation that you're helping everybody, and everybody naturally wants to return that favor to you. And so it's literally, my opinion, it's one of the strongest ways you can ever grow your referral business in whatever your industry, whether it's Avon, whether it's send out cards, whether it's Aflac, whether it's any other type of sales vehicle. That is one of the strongest ways you'll ever grow your referral business. And when you start asking for referrals, it'll be easy. I sat down when I did that day. As soon as he told me the answers to the questions, I had already kind of had a couple of companies in mind I thought I could refer to pretty quickly. And I picked up my cell phone and I called them, and sitting there in front of him at his desk. And I asked the person involved, I said, look, I've got a friend who has a mortgage business. He's starting to do this and that. And I said, I think it would be a good thing for you two to meet. I know him, I like him, and I trust him. And I would like to give him your name as a referral. Will that be okay? And they both said yes. I said, all right, I appreciate it. So I did it right in front of them, and I gave them the names.
Nice.
And so
nice.
it lays it up so well that it makes it easy for you. And so the way we weaved that into the story was how Tammy Bond, which we know we're going to get to meet a new Tammy Bond. We found that out today. But Tammy Bond actually utilized that process in her tastings that she was using, and she trained Kai, and then Kai developed that ability as well. So it was one of the most important sales lessons I learned. I give Bob Berg the entire credit for it because that's who I learned it from. but it was a great lesson for me.
No, I love that story. And you told that story on Add Value to Life interview, which sadly I watch all of ours over. I don't pick it apart. I just learn something every time I'm watching them. So if you all haven't seen them all, they're on saidtheladywiththebluehair.com. If you scroll down, there's links to all the interviews we've done, all the interviews and all your old ones too. But I love that story, and I love that you called the other guy right in front of your customer at that moment.
Right.
And that seems very impactful.
It was. And he actually, when he was giving me referrals later, he did the same thing. I sit there and he calls him and says, look, I trust this guy. Take his call.
Oh, nice.
And so, it was a good thing. So it's a great way to have your life. I mean, you think about it. Do you want to have a life where you're always having to work and prospect and find new customers in a difficult way, or would you rather it be an easier way? And
well, we do have to say the part about you have to do these things without the expectation of a return.
Absolutely.
Because it can't be, you know what I mean? When someone says, I owe you one, you don't want that. You don't want to be owed.
No, you want them to be
owe them or owe you. You know, it's not a game where you're keeping score.
Right. And you do it without the intent or the framework of the return. But what happens is if you're that kind of a person, people naturally want to be that way with you. And then, and like if Bob teaches it in the 5 laws of stratospheric success about the 5th law of receptivity, it's okay to receive when it comes because it's going to happen. If you're constantly focused on how can I be the right value, how can I give more to the people I'm doing business with, you can't help but have a lot of it come back. It's just the way the universe works, in my opinion.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, the only thing I say, I'm no theologian, but I do believe that's the way life works. So,
if you're nice to squirrels,
I am not going to be nice to squirrels. If there's a squirrel in heaven, I'm going to get my chewed up.
If there's a squirrel heaven,
yeah. I hope I'm one of those people. I hope reincarnation's not the thing, because if I have to come back as a squirrel, it's going to be great. Just great.
I can see you.
Oh,
yeah, and squirrels. The only thing that's bothered me lately about them is that the dog acts. He loses his mind. He loses his mind if he sees a squirrel or thinks it might be a squirrel. And he even did it when we're in the van. He'll like go right up the door and everything. And he's not even a mean dog or anything. And I don't even know if he got one, what he'd do with it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even do anything. He'd be scared of it.
All right, couple of announcements. I'm going to leave out some syllables tonight just because I can. Okay.
I don't know what the announcements are. I want to know.
That's all right. Well, I'm going to tell people. Lisa did hit #1 on the Promptings with Cody B podcast. That's the most downloaded views yet. But please keep sharing. Don't you go watch it 100 times to make it that way. That's not what we're talking about.
We went 20 something over the 5. I mean, the 400. Yeah.
You're over 500 now, right?
500 now. Yeah.
So keep sharing it, because number one, Lisa did a fantastic job. It's great information, especially for people in direct sales, but also it's great promotion things for the book. So just please keep sharing that. Everybody you know that's in direct sales, make sure they get a copy of it. Let's see what other thing I've got here. Amazon ratings and Amazon reviews. I am so pleased. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to post Amazon reviews or ratings. And some of you, if you haven't been comfortable with the idea of putting up a review, that's okay. You can go on and just put the rating, put the stars. You don't actually have to give a review to put the stars, because right now I think we've got 35 or 40 ratings that are great, and then we got a few less reviews, but I don't remember the exact number now off the top of my head. Can you see it? I'm sorry. Anyway, but please, if you read the book, if you love the book, go give it at least a rating on Amazon. And then if you feel so led, oh my goodness, we'd love to have a review. We've had a couple of new reviews this week, but those reviews do a huge amount of promotion for the book. And so, you guys have just been so wonderfully supportive. So thank you so much for that. Audible. I am so excited about the Audible thing being released. The audiobook on Audible, I think it's on Audible. Of course, you can do it on Amazon, but if you're an Audible member, you can do it there. It's also available on, I believe, iTunes now through that. I'd have to look it all. But anyway, so I think you can find it in most places. However, let me encourage you. I have become a huge audiobook fan over the last 12 months, and I was not one before because I wanted a book in my hand. I wanted to be able to make notes and read. And, a lot of people still do that. And I don't, that's a great thing. If you do want to check out the idea of the audiobooks, if you're not a member of Audible now, I posted a link online in the group earlier, and then on my personal feed as well. If you're not an Audible member now, you can actually go on there and sign up, and I think you get your first 2 books for free. So you're gonna get Said the Lady with the Blue Hair for free if you do that. I think is the way it works, but you have to use that link that I posted. It won't work any other way. So if you would like to get the Audible version, even if you've already got the others, it's worth having an extra copy because how the interactions work. I think
you can hear Mr. Sexy Voice.
Oh, who was it? Who was it that said I could read the phone book and then buy it the other day? I don't remember.
Could have been me.
No, it wasn't you. It was somebody in the feed. But anyway, Audible, I encourage you, if you're not an Audible member now, check it out. Use that link that I posted in the group or on my personal Facebook feed and do it with that, because I believe the way it works is you get your first 2 books for free. So you can actually get a free copy of Said the Lady with the Blue Hair there. And I've actually become a huge Audible fan, primarily because I love Michael Connelly books, oddly enough. Let's see. There's been a challenge going around I've seen recently called the 12-book challenge, where you list 12 books that you would like for people to read, and you start sending it out to your friends. That's a great way to promote any book you love. And we know you love Lisa and you love the book. So that's a great way to promote it as well. And then my favorite thing I'm going to say, I can't say because it's not in line, but I'm going to say part of it. This year, Lisa and I this is no longer a launch group because we've gotten the book launched. It is a support group. Let's promote the book. Let's share it. But because things like the book, The Shack, Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, they all started as independently or self-published books that people just loved, and they kept sharing it everywhere. So we'd love to see this get that way, because the message in the book is so powerful. I truly believe anybody in any sales career could get a lot from it. But one of the things that Lisa and I now want to do is we want to make sure that each week you've got some value that is just really helpful. That's why we always devote a part of the time to training and all that. But we may even have the potential to have a few guests on this year. That's what we're looking to line up right now. And I'll tell you some of my favorite people I'm hoping will be on here, and I think they probably will, but I can't say any more than that. But we plan to have guests. How's that? Is that good enough? Hey, can you do a 3-way conference call with this StreamYard thing? Is that doable? Yeah, that's what we did with.
I'm stuck back at 3-way.
Dadgummit, I knew you were going to do that. As it was coming out of my mouth, I said, "Grab it, Jeff! Don't put that out there. Grab it back, pull it back. Mayday, help! All right. Anyway.
I did have something I wanted to say. Is it my turn?
I'm through with announcements.
Okay, announcements. Okay. I'm going to be traveling quite a bit in the next couple of months, and I want to see you if you live anywhere near where I'm going. So my first thing, I'm going to be putting the schedule up in the group, but my first thing is Salt Lake City. So I'm going to be in Utah. I think it's 18th through the something. And I'm going to, everywhere I go, have like a little couple-hour thing at the hotel lobby where you can come by and we can have a drink together, whatever it is. And you can bring a book if you want me to sign it. So I got Salt Lake, I got Denver, I got New York City, I've got what's Jacksonville, Florida, right near there. It's Amelia Island, Jacksonville, Florida, right near there. And what else?
That's so awesome that you're doing that and that you'll sign books while you're there. I think that's just amazing. That's great.
Oh, I like to meet everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm actually reassessing my hug rule. Yeah.
I've only met Lisa in person one time, and it was in San Antonio. She was down for an Avon thing, and I drove I guess about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever it was, to get down there. And we had lunch together. And after lunch, I gave her a hug. She said, "I'm not a hugger." I said, "I don't care." I'm a hugger. It's what I do. I did have to learn, though, in today's culture, when I'm hugging a female, I should not hug like this. I'm supposed to hug like this, and just to the side.
I'm disappointed.
Well, I didn't make the new rules, and I don't even like the new rules. But anyway,
I make my own rules. So.
Oh, I'm in so much trouble. All right.
Yes, you are, aren't you, though? Yeah, but no, it's usually fun when we do these little meet and greet things because people drop in and we spend some time together, and it's
awesome.
fun. That's why I like to travel around. So make sure you watch the page to make sure you know where I am. And that also means we might have to juggle a time a little bit one way or the other, but we're going to continue on doing the shows. But it might be like if I'm in the air or something, I will have to move the time a little bit.
Hey, Debbie Britt said she lives about an hour from Amelia Island.
Oh,
So
I
maybe
hope
you guys
I
can
hope
hook
we
up
can.
there.
Yeah, you can maybe run down, Debbie.
When is it you're going to be down there?
Oh, I can look and tell you. That's in actually February.
You have it in a folder.
That what?
Tonight, see here.
That is February 15th through the 19th. Yeah, and the meet and greet is going to be, I believe, the 16th, February 16th, and that's going to be
closer to that area. I would go into. Are you coming back to Texas anytime this year? Do you know?
I don't know that right at the moment. Okay. Why, you invite me?
No, I'm not. Well, I am saying if you're in Texas, I'll try to make sure that we can get time to have lunch or something.
Oh, hell, you're kidding me? I'm knocking on your door. If I go to Texas, I am knocking on your door.
Oh,
you're going
hell.
Yeah, you go.
Okay, the blushing started now.
Oh, good. Debbie's going to come down.
I tell you what, I got to meet Debbie at the Go Givers Entrepreneurs Academy in Jupiter. I just love her to death. She's a sweetheart. We've got so many good people that are part of this group, that are part of that group. You and I hang around in circles that are way better than us. I don't get how this happened.
Aren't we supposed to do that?
I think so. I think we're supposed to set that bar higher and higher and higher. But are these people that we're getting to hang out with, are they setting it lower? And I don't know. I know I love them.
They're pitying us and letting us in their circle too. Oh, we're so naughty. Okay, so I think that's it for news.
Okay. Look, guys, we love you guys. The whole book launch experience and this Team Blue and now the Blue Haired Brigade. Did I say that right? I'm still getting used to the new name.
Blue Hair Brigade. You did. Yeah. You were leaving out hair, but now you got it.
Yeah. Oh, and we need to promote her podcast too. We need to make sure we start promoting
her that's podcast. Coming up, Jenny. Yeah.
But it's just been such an awesome experience. Writing the book and collaborating with Lisa was awesome. I fell in love with the characters during the story writing myself. I today realized as I was listening to the Audible, because I wanted to hear it from their platform, and I'm listening to it, I'm realizing, this is probably the last time I'm really going to go through the story like this. I got a little emotional. I thought, wow, I don't know. And I've got other projects I start next week, and I'm working on that, and I'm going, but I love Kai and I love Belle. And Michaela needs her someone to be there for her. And Dalton, move over.
Book 2 when you can fit us in your schedule. Book 2.
Well, we've been getting asked about that, and we'll
have to fight for a spot on your schedule. I'll have to fight for a spot.
You think about it. We left some stories intentionally untied.
Unresolved.
Yeah. And there were other lessons that were in the original list that we never got to. So there's all kinds of things we could do. But
you could have a big giant wedding.
One of the first things we said was we weren't going to do that.
Right, but
now you want a sequel.
A woman's prerogative is to change her mind. Right. As you learn and grow, we
bring in Kai's long lost boyfriend, Jim Ferris, from The Unexpected Tour Guide. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, that would be fun.
No, because Jim's married and has children.
So. Oh no, that wouldn't be fun. Yeah, no.
By the way, I did do an audio version of The Unexpected Tour Guide. I have not had a chance to do the editing and get it up on Audible, but I'm looking forward to putting that on Audible as well. I've fallen in love with the Audible platform. It is.
Did you do
I listen to books all the time.
Did you do the voices?
Yeah, I did. I did 100% on The Unexpected Tour Guide.
No, I meant like you were telling Doug you were going to do.
Yeah, I did. I went into the southern when it was the homeless man. I went into the southern drawl for a homeless anyway, people need to read the book or wait for the Audible version. I'll be happy with that too.
Invite the squirrels to the wedding. We could do a squirrel themed wedding.
Ding a ding a ding ding, ding a ding a ding ding.
We are all wrong, people. We are all wrong together. That's what we are.
All right, I guess we should stop. We're overtime by 5 minutes.
Okay. I thank you very much, everybody, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody. See you next week.